My name is Ethan, and for the longest time, I believed in the kind of love that you read about in fairy tales. Anna and I met during our college years, and it didn't take long for us to become inseparable. We shared a love that seemed unshakable, filled with laughter, mutual respect, and deep trust. Our relationship was the envy of our friends, a perfect match in almost every way. As time passed, our bond only seemed to grow stronger. We moved in together after graduation, starting a new chapter in a cozy apartment in the heart of the city. Those days were filled with dreams about the future, plans that always included each other. Life was good, and my trust in Anna was complete. I had no reason to doubt us, no reason to question the foundation we had built together. But, as in all stories, no love is without its trials. At first, the signs were barely noticeable, easy to dismiss as nothing more than quirks of a stressful job or the usual ebb and flow of a long-term relationship. A forgotten call here, an unexplained delay there. Small things, really, but they began to accumulate, casting a shadow I tried hard to ignore. Looking back, I realized these were the first whispers of a storm approaching, the kind that could upend the life I knew and believed in. Little did I know, these subtleties were the harbingers of a revelation that would change everything. Anna was vibrant, the kind of person who could light up a room with her smile. She had an infectious laugh and eyes that sparkled with wit and intelligence. Her long chestnut hair and easy grace made her stand out in any crowd, but it was her warmth and genuine kindness that drew people to her, myself most of all. We met at a university book club, both of us reaching for the same novel, on a shelf crowded with literary classics. It was Pride and Prejudice, a favorite of hers, and a book I'd never read. That serendipitous moment marked the beginning of our story. We talked for hours that first day, about books, life, our dreams, and from that day forward, we were a team. Our relationship was built on shared interests and mutual admiration. We traveled together, exploring new cities, tasting new foods, and collecting memories like precious stones. Anna loved art museums, and I loved watching her as she lost herself in the strokes of paint on canvas. These moments, so vivid and full of life, seemed to promise a future just as rich. We planned a life together, marriage, kids, a house with a big backyard where we could host family barbecues and summer parties. We talked about our careers too, supporting each other's ambitions unconditionally. Anna was in marketing, climbing the corporate ladder with her usual flair, while I worked as a software developer. We were a team, both in our personal lives and in our support for each other's professional growth. This deep emotional connection made our relationship feel almost sacred, a sanctuary from the rest of the world. I trusted her completely, believed in us utterly, and knew in my heart that we were meant to be together forever. Little did I know, the future we dreamed of was hanging by a thread, and the trust I held so dear was on the verge of being shattered. As the months rolled on, subtle changes in Anna's behavior began to form a pattern that was harder and harder to ignore. It started with her phone. It was as if it had become an extension of her very self, always in her hand or just out of reach. She began to take calls in other rooms, her voice a hushed whisper. And when I asked who it was, she would brush it off with a vague work call or a hurried just a friend from the gym. Then there were the late nights at the office, more frequent than ever before. She said they were working on a big project, that her presence was crucial. I wanted to believe her, truly I did, but doubt is a persistent companion once it takes root. Each "I'll be late tonight" text chipped away at my trust, each unexplained absence a weight on my heart. One evening, I found a restaurant receipt in her coat pocket while doing laundry. Dinner for two at a place we had talked about visiting together. When I mentioned the restaurant, hoping she'd offer an explanation, she hesitated just a beat too long before saying, "Oh, that was a lunch with a client. Must have forgotten to give you the receipt." Another night, I woke to find her side of the bed empty. Padding down the hall to the living room, I heard her laugh, a soft, intimate sound, floating down the hallway. She was on the phone, curled up on the couch, unaware of my presence. The conversation stopped abruptly as I approached, her smile fading as she saw me. "Just catching up with an old college friend," she said quickly, but her eyes avoided mine. These incidents accumulated, each one a thread in a tapestry of doubt and confusion. The emotional turmoil was exhausting. I loved her. I trusted her. Or at least I wanted to. But these secrets, these half-truths, they gnawed at me, eroding the foundation of our relationship day by day. The heart that once beat so confidently for us both now stumbled frequently, tripped up by fear and uncertainty. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon, the kind where the sky turns a sullen gray and the raindrops hammer relentlessly against the windows. I had come home early from work, feeling under the weather, a headache pulsing at my temples. The streets were slick with rain, and the chill in the air seemed to seep into my bones. As I turned my key in the lock and pushed open the door to our apartment, I was enveloped by an unusual silence. Stepping inside, I called out for Anna, expecting to hear her voice float back from the bedroom or see her emerge from the kitchen, but there was no answer. The quiet was unsettling. As I hung up my coat and kicked off my wet shoes, a faint murmur of voices drew my attention. They were coming from our bedroom. The door was ajar, just a crack, but through it I could hear Anna's voice, soft and intimate. My heart pounded in my chest as I pushed the door open. There, sitting on our bed with her back to me, was Anna, her phone pressed to her ear. She was laughing gently, oblivious to my presence. "I wish you were here with me right now," she murmured into the phone. Those words, so tender and so clearly not meant for me, felt like a punch to the gut. She turned sharply as she sensed my presence, her face blanching as she saw me standing there. The phone call ended abruptly, her finger hitting the end call button as if it were a reflex. "Ethan," she stammered, scrambling to her feet. "You're home early. I didn't expect—" "Who are you talking to?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. It's nothing. Just a friend," she replied, avoiding my eyes. "A friend?" I echoed, the hurt obvious in my voice. "Anna, I heard you. Why would you say something like that to just a friend?" For a moment, she was silent, her gaze fixed on the floor. Then, with a deep sigh, she looked up at me. "It's not what you think, Ethan. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." "But it did," I said, my voice breaking. "Who is he?" The confession came slowly, painfully. "His name is David," she admitted, her voice a whisper now. "We met at a conference a few months ago. I didn't mean to. I don't know how it went. This far." The details poured out then, each one a blow to the remnants of the trust and future I thought we had. As she spoke, the room seemed to close in around me, the walls echoing with the shattering of my heart. In the days that followed my discovery of Anna's affair, I found myself navigating a tumultuous sea of emotions. Betrayal gnawed at me, a relentless ache that clouded every waking moment. Heartbreak was a constant companion, manifesting in silent tears in the shower or sudden overwhelming waves of sadness that left me gasping for air. Anger surged through me unpredictably, a fiery counterpoint to my sorrow, burning hot and fierce over the lies and secrets. I moved to the spare bedroom, a space that felt both alien and cold, reflecting the internal void where warmth used to reside. Our apartment, once filled with laughter and love, now seemed haunted by the ghost of what had been. I avoided common spaces when she was home, the air thick with unsaid words and stifled emotions. I reached out to my brother, James, who had always been my confidant. Over coffee in a quiet corner of our old haunt, I poured out the story. James listened, his expression a mix of concern and disbelief. "You deserve better, Ethan. You need to think about what's best for you now," he advised, his words a balm to my frayed nerves. His pragmatic support was a lifeline, pulling me back from the edge of despair. My best friend, Lisa, offered a different kind of comfort. "Let yourself feel everything," she urged, during long phone calls that stretched into the night. "But remember, this pain won't define you. You will heal, you will grow from this." Lisa's reminders of my resilience were crucial, helping to rebuild the self-esteem that the betrayal had eroded. Work became a refuge, a place to drown my thoughts in tasks and deadlines. Yet, even there, memories would ambush me between meetings, or during quiet moments, piercing the facade of normalcy I struggled to maintain. My colleagues noticed the change, their worried glances a silent acknowledgement of my suffering. As weeks turned into months, I began to seek solace in long walks, the rhythmic pounding of my feet on the pavement, a physical manifestation of my turbulent thoughts. Nature did not judge. It simply bore witness to my recovery, its gradual renewal a metaphor for my own. The path to healing was neither straight nor easy. It was a jagged journey marked by small victories and painful setbacks. But through the support of those who loved me and my own inner strength, I started to envision a life beyond the betrayal, a future forged from the ashes of my broken heart. Healing from the betrayal took time, patience, and a lot of self-reflection. As the raw pain began to fade, replaced by a duller ache, I focused on rediscovering who I was beyond the relationship. I reconnected with old hobbies that I had set aside: photography, hiking, reading for pleasure, all activities that Anna and I hadn't shared. These activities became my solace, helping me to reclaim my independence and joy. Through therapy, I learned to process my feelings more healthily and constructively. It taught me the importance of setting boundaries and the value of self-respect in any relationship. I came to understand that forgiveness was not just about absolving Anna, but about freeing myself from the burden of bitterness. Forgiving her was a decision I made to let go of the past and embrace my future with a lighter heart. The experience shifted my perspective on relationships fundamentally. I learned that trust is not just given, it's built, nurtured, and sometimes repaired. It showed me that while love is a beautiful and powerful thing, it should never come at the cost of one's self-worth. This wisdom became a guiding principle in my subsequent interactions, both personal and professional. I also made changes in my life that were about personal growth and happiness. I moved into a new apartment, a place that I could start afresh, without the shadows of old memories. I traveled more, exploring new places with a sense of freedom and adventure that I had almost forgotten. Reflecting on the journey, the most profound lesson I learned is that pain, while an inevitable part of life, also brings invaluable growth. It teaches resilience, fosters empathy, and often leads us to paths we never planned to explore, but find profoundly rewarding. For anyone going through similar heartache, remember this: healing is not just about moving past the pain. It's about growing from it, learning who you are, and building a future that resonates with your newfound strength and wisdom. Like the phoenix, you too can rise from the ashes, reborn and renewed, ready to soar. In this story, we journeyed through the complexities of love, trust, and betrayal. We witnessed the deep emotional connection between two people and how devastating it can be when that trust is broken. The discovery of Anna's infidelity was a painful revelation for Ethan, leading to a tumultuous period of doubt, heartache, and anger. However, through this dark time, Ethan found a pathway to healing, supported by the love and wisdom of friends and family. The key points of our narrative revolve around the importance of trust in relationships, the painful impact of betrayal, and the powerful process of healing and personal growth. Ethan learned to reclaim his independence, to forgive not just for the sake of others, but for his own peace, and to move forward with a new understanding of what it means to love and be loved. As we close this story, I encourage you to reflect on your own relationships. Consider the value of trust and honesty, and remember that though we may face challenges and pain, these experiences can lead to profound personal growth and understanding. Let this story be a reminder that even in moments of great betrayal, there is hope for renewal and strength. May you find the courage to face challenges with dignity and emerge with a deeper appreciation for life's complex beauty.